I hope there is a 11 pitcher limit on rosters, and this is something that
Mm,
probably take a year or two to put into place. The argument's very simple. I'm not even going to call it the death of the starting pitcher, but the starting pitcher has been severely marginalized as we've recognized third time through the order penalty, just how good relievers have gotten and how premium the stuff is at this point. And I think, and listen, this may be because I'm an old, but I think starting pitcher matchup is like a real thing.
it is.
And that in a sport that doesn't have all that many stars, when you have two-star starting pitchers going against one another, you want to see them pitch deep into games. You want to see them go a fourth time through the order. You want to see them be like the aces of the past, these superheroes who could go out and throw 9 innings. And I'm not saying we're going to ever be in that place where they're throwing 140 pitches again, but the point is, with an 11-man staff, it emphasizes to starting pitchers that you need to get deeper into games, because if you have rules in place about optioning guys up and down, so you can't do that to save your,
Mm,
to essentially have a new bullpen in there practically every day. The starters are going to know, hey, we need to have 7 innings as a reality, not just a far-fetched goal. When you have that in place, you are not going to have pitchers going out there and throwing max effort full tilt on all of their pitches because they know they're going to be somewhere between 80 and 100. No, you're going to have guys who are going to have to take a little bit off their stuff, maybe, who are going to have to throw more strikes. You have less stuff and more strikes, you're going to have more guys swinging. You have more guys swinging, you're going to have more balls in play. That takes care of so many of these problems. And to me, the idea of having a 15-man pitching staff, a 15-man offense, and a bench with 6 guys on it, and if you have the double hook rule in place, where if you take your starter out, you lose your DH
mm,
too. Suddenly, we're going to end up with more pinch runners, more pinch hitters, the sorts of things at the end of the game that bring some intrigue into it. I am not a baseball was better back in the 70s and 80s guy. I don't necessarily believe that. What I do believe is that baseball players in 2022 are better than they have ever been before, and it's not particularly close. I think they're stronger. I think they're faster. They're more athletic. They know what they're doing. They have this knowledge from this wide base of analytics that the game has gifted us. But the game has also gone, I think, in something of a wrong direction because of the analytics and the way that they absolutely, above all else, worship efficiency. And efficiency is good for winning games. It's good for individual teams. It's bad for the sport. And so I think all of these things, when you put the players out there, as good as they are right now, in a game that's more conducive to showing off their talents, to not just seeing a 3 true outcomes game, I think it's a complete change in the trajectory of baseball going forward. And I'm not saying an 11-man pitching staff is going to bring us to this point of Valhalla where everything is great
right.
suddenly, but I think that the intended consequences of it would work, and that the unintended consequences would not be so severe to negate the things that go in favor of making that rule change.
No, there was a couple moments this World Series, and Braves fans, turn off your ears or whatever. You won the World Series, who cares? But back-to-back World Series starting pitchers, it was Dylan Lee and it was who was the other one? Tucker Davidson. And it's obviously not shots fired at them, but this is it's the world. The Braves clearly won. They did it right.
Yeah.
But the World Series when should be one of the best times of year to bring in outside fans and say, look, we've got the best team from here and we got the best team from here. And they say, okay, so, the next question is who's the starting pitchers? And
Always. Like that's the first question, or it should be at least. And I don't know. I want starting pitchers to have the resonance they once did, because I don't think there's anything more difficult to do in baseball than go out there and just shove. Like, think about what starting pitch. Like, I'm just asking someone who even throws a baseball around regularly or does not go out to 60 feet, stand on a mound, have a catcher put a glove right there and hit that spot. Just once hit that spot out of 10 throws without the catcher having to move his glove. They do that for 100 pitches every night. And I know they don't always hit their spots, but what pitchers do to me is remarkable. And bringing back this idea of pride in starting pitching, where a guy reaching 200 innings isn't some reason to go out and celebrate, but is actually both healthy and safe for their arm and helpful for the team. I'm not asking you to go back to 300. I'm not asking you to go back to starting every fourth day instead of every fifth day. What I am asking is go deep into the game and save your pen. And save your pen because your pen's not very big. You're going to have 5 or 6 guys, and that's enough. That's enough if you don't have guys throwing a third of an inning at a time. I mean, if you don't have the bullpen clown car going into a game and just trying to manage every single little platoon split. I get why they do it. Like, it makes sense. It is the efficient way to do things. It's just not the great way to watch it as a fan.
Yeah, and I think I heard Wayno talk about it a little bit. Like, it, you know, the phrase in baseball for years is the game adjusts, and the game adjusts, but it wasn't in addressing the problem. It was you're a minor league starting pitcher, you know, save your bullets. Like, let's get you through 75 pitches and you're good. It's not, they don't even want guys to be the next Adam Wainwright. You're not getting trained to become that. And yeah, I'll give you something you can steal for whatever next article you need. But, you know, baseball has been looking for the equivalent of NBA where LeBron has the ball in his hands every possession, or the starting quarterback, like that kind of was the starting pitcher.
Yeah. I mean there is one person on a baseball field who can dictate where every game goes, and that is the man on the mound. And if you have a starting pitcher out there who is capable of going deep into the games, he can control that game. Like, it's on him. Typically when guys are executing and making the right pitches, they're not going to get tagged around very much. And if you have guys who are going out there every fifth day and doing it for 7 or 8 innings at a time, I think the game is better. I think the game is better when you can go out and say, I know who's going to be on the mound for presumably a long period of time, as opposed to, and this is, I hate saying this, but it is reality. Generally speaking, relievers are failed starters.
Yeah.
That's typically the way that it goes, and that doesn't negate how important relief pitching is. Like, top flight relief pitching is a joy to watch because their stuff is better than any starter out there, and it's amazing to see them just come in and blow guys away. I just don't want that starting in the 4th or 5th inning.